I think I've changed my mind about Sami Zayn winning the Fatal 4-Way match at Saturday night's main event. Let's have a look at how the WWE might do this. Okay, so SmackDown's over, and let's talk about how Sami Zayn was basically the star of the show this week. Obviously, it was in Montreal, so he got a huge hometown pop when he came out. He opened the show. But the way I'm looking at it now is my original prediction for Saturday night's main event is a bit up in the air, and my Royal Rumble prediction. We obviously had Sami kind of facing off with Drew a bit more in this episode, as opposed to just, oh, he's going to win the Fatal 4-Way. Obviously, all the guys had their pieces together during the episode, but Drew and Sami backstage, Sami smacking Drew, Sami coming out and interfering in the Priest and Trick Williams match. Obviously, Orton stands tall. So now you're thinking, my original pick was Orton to win the Fatal 4-Way. But there's just something about that episode and about the story it looks like they're doing with just Drew and Sami going forward that I think he might actually win the Fatal 4-Way tonight on Saturday night's main event. It's a strange one, I think. I don't know how you do this. So Trick is going to be protected in the Fatal 4-Way. I think that's a given. I think Priest is probably going to take the pin. But it's definitely between Orton and Sami at the minute. I'm still kind of torn. Like, if Orton wins, it makes sense for him to go on to Saturday night's main event and fight Drew. Win or lose, it doesn't really matter at that point. For me, anyway. Like, I don't really mind who's carrying that belt going into Elimination Chamber. But it could still be Drew. That would make sense for Sami's point of view. But then Sami could go into the Royal Rumble, and then that brings it back to my original pick of, could Sami upset everybody and do a Rumble win in Saudi and get a huge reaction? So it also plays into, could Sami win the Fatal 4-Way match and get a huge hometown reaction in Montreal, then go to Saudi Arabia and possibly win the world title off Drew in that match at the Saudi crowd going bananas for him too. I think they're kind of leaning towards a Drew and Sami program, and I could see maybe Trick and Orton. I know Priest is in the mix, so the three of them could have a little program somewhere, but I could see Trick and Orton would be a cool feud too. Obviously, Trick's debut came with face-to-face with Orton, so it would make sense. But I think my pick has slightly changed. I think they might do Sami Zayn winning the Fatal 4-Way for the hometown pop, and then bring him to take him out a Rumble match and put him against Drew at Royal Rumble. I think it's good booking. I think it'd be cool to see they have the history and he's kind of bringing up all the losses, but then it feels like he kind of has to win at the Royal Rumble. But I don't see if they're going to I don't see them putting the world title on Sami right now. But I'd be up for an upset. I love Drew as champion, and I know it's only been a short reign, and they just had his homecoming in Glasgow. But I think, I'm going to put it out there, I think Sami Zayn wins the Fatal 4-Way and goes on to Royal Rumble as the number one contender against Drew. In other news, we have AJ and Nakamura facing off, and it's made official for Saturday night's main event tonight. I think it's stoking the flames of AJ's retirement. It makes me feel like they actually are going to pull the trigger on his retirement come the Royal Rumble against Gunther. Like, you're putting a big fan favourite feud back together that was huge in New Japan, and they have all this history, and it's a dream match and it's a great matchup, and then you're going to put it on the week before he retires. I feel like this is it. I think I'm set in stone now to say that AJ Styles retires at Royal Rumble. I think this is it for AJ. I've seen there's rumblings on the internet, people are counting down his contract. I don't know how true those rumours are that people have his contract details, but I think this is it for AJ. I think that's going to that could be a show stealer, that match, as well, because we both know how good they are. I'm actually more excited for Saturday night's main event now that we have an extra match. So I think this is the end for AJ Styles, unfortunately. A good way to go, give it a good fan favourite match, and then into the Gunther match to keep Gunther strong. But this is the end for AJ, I'm afraid. And then also we have Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes in the little sit down that got a bit heated. So I liked this, but I already said I'm all in on Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes. bring this to WrestleMania. Put it in the lights at WrestleMania. I want to see this match in a street fight at WrestleMania. I'm calling it now. I don't think Cody wins the Rumble, so I think Jacob gets involved and dumps him out of Rumble probably. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a full-on heel turn. It could be Cody could lose the head and get disqualified at Saturday night's main event to keep this feud hot. Because Drew keeps circling back saying, I didn't knock Jacob's teeth down his throat. I don't tell any lies. But Cody's been fairly quiet about that whole situation. So is it going to come to blows and he's going to say it, or he's going to prove it in the match? I think it could be intriguing for Cody's character, I think, to have him in a role like this now, going into the Elimination Chamber and then going into WrestleMania season. So I can see some sort of disqualification maybe, some shenanigans in that match. But if not, I don't really care who wins. I just want that feud to continue. I love it. The face-off was cool. So yeah, let's keep that one going. That's all I really had for this one. But I'm going to be posting a short and a TikTok for my Saturday night main event predictions, because I'm not going to do a whole other video for it. I'm just going to do quick picks. And then, so if you have any thoughts on what we just talked about here, what you think is going to happen at Saturday night's main event, let me know down in the comments. I'm going to be reading them all. Be sure to like and subscribe as well for more of this content. I'll see you in the next one.